This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so let's get started. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. It's the first day of April. It's Wednesday. Hopefully you're having a good week. I know these weeks are definitely abnormal, but I'm happy that you guys are here, eager and interested in learning more about where you can integrate new technologies into the remote learning experience. So welcome. For those that are just jumping in, if you could head over to the chat window in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see there are some links. You're going to have to scroll all the way up to the top, though, because there's been some chatting going on. So you're going to have to scroll all the way up to see the links. One of the links is for today's slide deck, which includes the resources specifically about Edpuzzle, but then it has all of these resources from all of the other sessions that our team has been delivering for the past week and a half now. So please find that. If you're having a hard time finding that, we'll post it again towards the end of the session. Okay. Oh, it looks like there's no link showing. So let me paste it in one more time because I'm getting a few of you saying that. So let me fix that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this one is this first one I'm going to send to you guys is the links to this. So here you go. And then this next one is going to be when we start getting into Edpuzzle. We're all going to be joining a class together so you guys can see what the student experience is like. And so the second one, we're going to hold off just for a little bit. I'm not really going to get into that one yet, but I want to make sure you had access to it. Okay, so there are two resources for today. Okay, so just very quickly, if you've joined a session already, this is going to be just a reminder about who we are at Knowing Technologies. So Knowing Technologies is a comprehensive technology solution for schools. We kind of have two sides of our house. We have an IT side and then we have an instructional side. I lead the instructional side of the company, and these are my amazing colleagues who I get to work with every day. And we deliver a bunch of professional learning experiences for schools. And recently been very, very busy supporting a bunch of schools and figuring out how to navigate the remote learning landscape. So in response to that, we've been offering all of these Spark sessions over the past week and a half, and we're going to continue doing so because we know how helpful it's been. So this is our lineup for this week, and we have a variety of sessions, and we're going to continue these over the next few weeks, and they're drop-in kind of webinar style group type of dynamic. So today our focus is on video assessments with Edpuzzle. Tomorrow there's another video style webinar around using the app called Clips. And then Friday, which we're really excited about hosting, which is about brain breaks and resources to help maybe reduce screen time and also to help with the amount of change that's happening right now and how to give kids, parents just a chance to refresh their mind because it's something that we could all really, really benefit from right now. So the reason why these sessions were designed this week is because we've seen a lot of movement towards creating a lot of video content. And with that comes some other things that need to be addressed. And so Edpuzzle today is really, I think, going to be something that you're going to want to start considering when you're talking about the use of videos with your students. So Edpuzzle, just kind of as a bare bone, it's a video assessment tool. It allows you to take videos and add stopping points or checkpoints throughout the video. Those checkpoints can be assessment questions, and they can be notes that you want students to see. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to have you guys, we go back into the chat window and you look at the second link. It's the Edpuzzle link. I want everyone to click on that. And it should bring you here. So Edpuzzle allows you to create two different class types. One is a classic type, and then a more recent type that Edpuzzle created is an open class. When some people were signing up for this webinar, they were asking, how can this be used for elementary level students or for the younger ones? Creating an open class where all they have to do is type in a nickname, they don't need a login and all that kind of stuff is pretty ideal. So what I'd like you guys to do is I'd like you to, jump in there and join the open class, and what you'll see is that this is really the student experience. And so what I want you guys to do, if you could make sure that all of your microphones are muted right now, just make sure, let me just double check that. Okay, great. And what I want you guys to do is just watch this video, and I have actually added a couple assessment checkpoints. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds, click on the video, press play, and start to interact with the video as you start getting through. Okay. So if you just joined us, please go to the chat window and head towards the bottom of the chat, and you'll see an Edpuzzle link. You're going to click that, put in a nickname, click on the video, and then start watching this. This will give you a very good overview of Edpuzzle. Okay, I'll see you in a minute or so. If you guys could let me know when you're done watching that video, if you could write in the chat window and give me the thumbs up or say ready, that kind of thing, that will let me know when everyone's back and ready to go. Okay, great. I see a cloud of dones. Okay, great. Thank you. Ready? Okay. If you're just joining now, what we did is we went through an experience where you guys were the students going through and watching a video. It was an introductory video to Edpuzzle, which I thought would be a fun way to start today. And it had a couple checkpoints along the way. And I tried to include the 3 different assessment types that you could include. So there was a multiple choice, there was a note, and then there was a open kind of free response section. So you guys did all of that using an open course. So that's the student experience. So I'm going to get more into what other information do you have as the educator on the Edpuzzle side. So I'm of course going to get all of the analytics from what you've shared. I'm also going to be able to track when you went in, saw the video, how many times you watched it, and I was able to make it so that you couldn't fast forward. You may have experienced that if you tried to fast forward, but you couldn't. So that's one of the settings in Edpuzzle that that's a huge fan favorite with teachers. So I'm going to be able to track all of that. So I'm going to go into like, how do you actually do that? How do you set that up? So how do we get into Edpuzzle? So on this slide, which you guys all have, if you're just jumping in here, just scroll up in the chat and you'll be able to get all of these resources. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, okay, how do I set up a course? How do I find videos? Which type of videos can I use with Edpuzzle? How do I actually add those assessment questions along the way? How do I add those interactive elements? Do I need to add it to a course? How do the students access it? And then I'm also going to talk about 2 different options for actually sharing those videos. There is a asynchronous option where students can go at their own pace and do it when they can, or there is actually a newer synchronous model where you guys can actually watch the videos together and still have the assessment experience built into it. Edpuzzle also has some gradebook and student feedback features, which we'll touch on a little bit. And then it also has a really great opportunity for student projects where they can actually be the ones creating these videos with assessments and then share those with you. And then we'll finish today with a couple examples of how Edpuzzle has been used in a couple different subject areas. Okay, so why don't we get started? So there's a chat, someone's chatting about not seeing links. If you can scroll all the way up to the very top, you hopefully will see that, and if not, I'll reshare the links at the end of the session. Okay, so here we are. So this is the Edpuzzle. So if you want to get this going on your laptop, you can too, or you can just follow along. So you're going to log in. I'm going to log in as a teacher. I'm going to sign in with my Google account. Okay, so you guys would do that. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And once I'm in there, so I'm now navigating the Edpuzzle homepage. So you have to get comfortable with the setting. And so they'll show you here trending videos. They'll see trending, that kind of stuff, trending in the US, all that good stuff. So over here on the content area, this shows, this is a really great first place to look, is curriculum. So if you're looking for a video to work with, so you can, when you get in here, you can find videos that educators have already created that already have assessment questions in there, or you can actually create one from a video that you found and actually edit it yourself. But here on the curriculum side, it allows you to look at different levels, view content based on different subject areas, so you can really expand the gamut of the resources available. So you'll see, you can search here, you'll see a bunch of different things. I just jumped into the science section. You'll see this is a 2-minute video. You'll see that there are it contains 3 questions or notes. This one has about 10 questions or notes. So all of that is easily accessible to you under the curriculum tab. If a bunch of people at your school are using these, then you're going to see other resources that other colleagues have been actually using Edpuzzle. That would be under here. It would have the name of your school. My content is where all of your videos are going to live after you have started to create them in Edpuzzle. So as you're getting started with Edpuzzle, you'll start to go down to these channels to really start to hunt down the videos. So you may have done a search out in YouTube and you're like, oh, I really want to bring this video into YouTube to have this assessment type of experience or this interactive experience with the videos. So you can go down here and you can see the popular channels. So Edpuzzle means these have actually already all been manipulated by different educators around the globe. And you'll see that they have 6 questions, 6 notes, all that kind of good stuff. And you'll see all different types of videos, all kind of intermix in here. And I can do a search up here. I can filter by subject. You know, it helps you find things and not get too overwhelmed. Over here says YouTube. So if you're searching in YouTube and you want to search something in here, you can do so. They have a Khan Academy library, National Geographic, some really great stuff with TED Talks, Veritasium, Numberphile, and Crash Course. So there's a lot of great resources in there. All of these have not gone through the Edpuzzle editing process yet. The only ones that have are in this channel called Edpuzzle. Okay, so what you would need to do then is I'm going to go into YouTube and I'm going to select just this first video that I found called bar graphs. Okay, so I'm going to find that one and I'm going to say, okay, this looks like the video that I want. And over here on the lower right, you'll see where it says assign, copy, or edit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to then go to my video and I'm going to go over here to edit. And then when I'm here in edit, I then have kind of 3 main options. I have the ability to cut the video. So if I'm here at cut, I have the ability to do so. And I can start to play the video.
Today we're going to go over.
Okay, and then you have the ability to cut as you go.
Bar graphs. Then you'll have a chance to practice. In this graph, teachers were asked their favorite subject in school. The results are shown.
Okay, and as you are cutting this video, a lot of teachers will like to cut it at different ends, and you also have the ability to cut it like at different sections within the video. Sometimes it's too long, sometimes there's certain sections of it that you want to cut out. So I would spend some time practicing the editing and the trimming of the video. So that would be under the cut section. Okay, Voiceover allows you to replace the video's existing audio with an explanation in your own words or language. And so this is maybe you don't like the audio at all, and so you want to actually record over the video, which we've actually seen a lot of. We've seen it especially in the elementary where it's a little bit more advanced language. Maybe the video is just too high level for maybe, you know, pre-K, grade 1, grade 2. And so they will actually do a full voice recording here, and it actually, you have to have it be the whole 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Otherwise, it actually won't be inserted into it. But what you'll do is you'll play that, and then you'll press start recording. And as you do that, you're going to be seeing the video in motion, and you're going to be recording the audio over it. Just remember that if you're doing this, you have to actually record the entire audio. Okay. There is a question in here about captions, and there is a caption section. Yes. I'm also looking at the chat. Yep. So there is a closed caption, and I'll show you that too. Okay. So just to review, so cutting, splicing, adding a voiceover, which you may never use that option. So just know that it exists. But kind of the gem of Edpuzzle is here under question types. So question types, like you guys experienced when you first jumped on board today, there were 3 different question types that you can insert into your video. You're gonna, what we typically recommend is you start playing your video.
Our first question is, how many teachers said math was their favorite subject?
And so I find a stopping point, and then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna add a multiple choice question right there. Because I found the spot that I want the students to stop and actually have to think. It's kind of like when you're in your normal classroom setting and you may be playing a video and you're like, oh, this is a really good stopping point. I want to bring the class together. That's the time when you want to insert an assessment question into the video. Okay, so you would add a question here. So maybe how many teachers said math was their favorite subject? And then you could, say, provide a couple different options. You can add another answer choice, that kind of thing, and then decide on what was the correct answer. I'm not really looking for accuracy here. I'm more just doing this to model. But that shows that, and then you go down there and you click save. Okay, so when that's saved, you'll see there's a small black dot at the very bottom. That means you have a question embedded right there. Okay. And then you can keep going.
Well, if we look at the math column, we can see that
and so then I keep going forward. I'm like, here, I want to add a note. So I click a note, and I go add important information here. Okay, so that's just me adding a note. The students don't actually do anything with it. They just it's like you kind of saying, hey, you guys pay close attention to this part of the video. There's something that I don't want you to miss. So that's a note. And then if you keep going and say you wanted to add maybe a nice question at the very end.
We can start by looking at verbs. Results are shown.
At the very end, you want to add an open-ended question. And so an open-ended question would be like, please summarize what you've learned. So we see a lot of teachers doing that at the end of videos, adding that in there as sort of a final check-in with the students. Okay, so that was a very simple overview of how to take a video from Edpuzzle, copy it, edit it, then look at cutting, voiceover, and then adding 3 different question types into the video. Okay, once you finish that, okay, you are then able to then assign it to a class. Okay, so I go to assign, and then I've actually created 2 different classes already. The one that you guys when you first came in, the open learning class, and then the amazing educators is the class that I'm going to add it to. And over here, there was a question earlier about closed captioning, so I'll turn that on. I will also make sure that my prevent skipping is turned on. I will say that it's due today. I'll say it's due maybe let's say at 2 o'clock. And I am ready to go. And I'll press assign. Okay, and now as students, they're going to now be in their class and they're going to be able to see these different video types. Okay, so if I was now to take a step back, so I am, say I came in here, I've been exploring videos, I've been checking things out, I've been going to Edpuzzle, I've been going to YouTube, okay, and say I want to set up my classes. I go over here to my classes. I go over here, I've already created a couple classes, but I'm going to actually create another one. I'm going to go add a new class, create a new class. So I'm going to say, maybe I'm a 6th grade science teacher. Okay, and these are going to be my 6th grade science videos. Classic would actually have your students log in with their Google account or a username and password. So there's a couple extra steps for them to get in. Open is a section where they just have to come in with a nickname, which is really good for the younger grades. So depending on your demographic and the students that you work with and their needs, I would, really kind of think closely about that. Okay, I'm going to choose Classic here. Okay, and then from there, to invite my students, I click Invite Students, and you can either give them this link, or when they go to Edpuzzle, they can actually type this code in. Okay, there's a question here. Let's see. Yeah, so I would definitely look into the closed caption option. There's some questions about the equation editor, multiple choice. Something about inconsistency with that. I would definitely, it's not a fully robust math editing tool, but I know a lot of math teachers do use it. So I would keep going through that. I think there's some latex features into that. So I would definitely keep experimenting with that. I know you can also add pictures as screenshots of math that maybe you've created in another platform. I would consider that. Can this be linked to Google Classroom? Definitely. When you're creating your course, it actually says, do you want to import your courses from Google Classroom? So yes, definitely has a great Google Classroom integration. Yep, and there's another question about other learning management systems. All those links, just put this link right into your learning management system and it will direct them directly to Edpuzzle and they'll go through the setup process. Yeah, great. Great questions, everybody. Let me go back to here. So we have talked about, setting up a course. How do you find videos? How do you edit, add elements, adding videos to a course? There is, so I'm going to go back to my open learning course. Actually, I'm going to go to this one. And so when you're going back to your course, I'll show you this again. So I'm going to my course. I've assigned this video bar graphs to my Amazing Educators course. This is a classic course. And if you actually wanted to, instead of doing an asynchronous experience where the students are watching at their own time, and you wanted to do an asynchronous experience, you can do this Go Live section. So the Go Live section allows your students to all watch the video with you at the same time. You're in control of the speed, but they're actually all answering those assessment questions at the same time, and then you can show the assessment. So it's a synchronous group experience. So depending on what's going on, depending if you want to mix it up, there are a couple options for that. Okay. Let's see. So there is a gradebook, and right now I don't have any gradebook information in here. So there's links to that in the slide deck about gradebooks. It does just give you an opportunity to provide feedback and to put in some numbers. It's not super robust or anything, but I think it's just enough. I want to show you one more thing. earlier today, you'll see in my open class, you guys were submitting responses. So I got 11 responses. And what I can do is, you can see here, I can see student names, who's watched it. They only watched 40%, 100%, how long they spent on the video, did they actually finish it. And then I can go into each of them, and I can actually look at a more granular level of how did they actually do on the questions. And then I can add a comment. I can add whatever comment you want, and you can also add some points in here. Okay. And then there is a section here on student projects. And so let me also show that to you. So over here in my content, if you're actually saying, you know what, I've made you guys a couple Edpuzzle videos, I now want my students to create one. And so what you can do is, as you're going back to your Edpuzzle homepage, starting kind of back at square one, you're going to go to My Content, you're going to go to Add Content, and you're going to go over here to Student Project. You're going to give it a name. Okay, and then you're going to save the project. And so then that's going to live down here underneath your videos that you've been working on, and you're going to assign it to a class. I'm going to assign it to my amazing educators, and that's now going to be something, and they're actually going to go through that process of finding the video, adding assessment questions, and doing what they did, but submitting that completed project to you. And then you can look at all of those videos, and then you can say, you know what, I want to actually take this one and I want to bring this to the whole class. And so the video that everyone watches with the assessment questions were actually videos that your students created. Okay, so to finish up today, I want to actually show two examples. So on the call right now, I have a good friend of mine, an educator from Mercy High School in Burlingame, and she is a pretty regular user of Edpuzzle. And so I wanted her just to share just really briefly how Edpuzzle could be used a little bit differently in a way that not a lot of people think about. So Stephanie, are you there?
Hi.
Hey, Stephanie. Do you want to share with us a little bit about your use of Edpuzzle in your English course?
Sure. Should I turn on my screen?
Yeah. So I actually have a screenshot of the blog that was written about your work, and then also a screenshot of the video that has your annotations and one of the questions. Do you see that?
Okay. Yeah. So that specific assignment, I made a recording of myself annotating a sample essay, and then I put questions in asking the students to basically comprehend my annotations. So a lot of times we give feedback on essays and students have no idea what that feedback even means or what the purpose of it is. So I had a number of questions asking them to interpret the feedback I was giving, and then also explain what they would do to improve the essay. And I found that it really increased their understanding of feedback and the revision process.
That's an awesome idea. We were so excited when we heard this, because it definitely was just a different way to think about feedback in general. So this video that's here, she actually created that on her iPad using Notability, and then took that video, uploaded it to YouTube, and then found it on YouTube, and then put it into Edpuzzle and added the stopping points along the way. So it's such a great idea. Thank you, Stephanie.
Actually,
and then lastly,
upload it to YouTube, because you can upload your own videos yourself. So you can skip that.
Okay, so you can upload directly to Edpuzzle. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so that could save you the whole YouTube step. Yep, great. This example down here is an example of a language teacher that decided to create a video introducing his family. And so I wanted to show this to you.
In Spain, the date and some details.
And so in this video, I'm just going to turn the audio off, but what he did was he wanted to introduce his family to his students. And so he took a home video, basically. It's all in Spanish, and he added stopping questions along the way, which you'll see in a second. This is the, I think this was his mom that was introducing her granddaughter. And so as you're seeing, she's talking to the screen, and then there's going to be a stopping point just in a second of who is Carmen, and then the students would then have to respond. So this really allowed students to get connected to their teacher's family and have fun with it. And I think it would be really ideal for like a remote learning experience. So just another example in addition to Stephanie's around how Edpuzzle could be used to create a more interactive video watching experience. Okay, before we go, I just want to see if there's any other questions here. Let's see. So questions are, can you move students from one class to another? Yes, you have the ability to do that. Thanks, Stephanie, for answering the question about learning management systems. Can students go back to their answer and resubmit and edit the answer? They can. Just make sure you're not doing the open classes. If it's open classes, if it's an open class, it's not, you don't have that same ability because they're not connected to an account. So being able to come in and out is not an option for an open class. Okay, so it's 12:30, you guys. Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully that gave you enough information and enough examples and some inspiration around Edpuzzle. I think it's a great tool. A lot of people are really going to enjoy it. Get some practice with it. Take advantage of these links and resources, and good luck with everything. If you're interested in some more sessions this week, there are more opportunities this week, and then we'll have some more coming up next week that we'll be sure to send out. Okay, take care, everybody.